the thing for me is I'm very curious, and I love diving down like every rabbit hole I possibly can, because I know that there's good and bad to everything, right? So that's why I'm trying carnivore.
Everyone's different. So, I mean, the last diet I was kind of playing with was by blood type.
I've heard about that.
And that was interesting because it's like I'm eating all the wrong stuff.
Yeah, well,
And I'm
For
like
your
going,
blood type.
"Ugh." Yeah, I mean, because I love steak
oh yeah.
and wild game like crazy. I mean, I can eat that stuff forever.
Yeah.
And, and then all of a sudden I'm supposed to be eating fish. And by my blood type. And I was like going, huh. But it makes a little bit of sense of how everything's processed and stuff. So,
But this goes back to the whole, there's more than one way to fix you. Of course there's more than one way. And what does it all boil down to? Removing the sugar, removing the seed oils, and the ultra-processed crap that we're consuming.
at different ages, you're going to function perfectly fine with eating the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we can live on Cheetos and
Those
actually
were the days.
just
Ooh, ramen and mac and cheese in college. Yeah.
and you still have plenty of energy and stuff like
Totino's
that.
pizza?
And then,
Nice. What was your go-to food? Yeah. Oh, man.
chili con ramen.
Those
Can't believe we
were the
invented that one.
days. Oh, man. So what is your blood type? I'm just curious.
A negative.
Okay, that is less common. I think the most common is A positive. I think.
Oh.
You think that was the most common?
Yeah, I think it is.
I thought I read somewhere that what A positive was like 37% of the people in the world.
I don't know. It's a rabbit hole I haven't dived down for a while. But
So that's really fascinating.
not a lot of, for A negative is bad to, I think it's hard to get blood from people. So
Okay.
that's,
Sorry.
yeah.
You know what? We should probably introduce you.
I was just thinking
Yes,
that.
well, you know me. I go on tangents.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Mike
This week
Copeland.
we have Mike Copeland. We're very excited. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to say
Well,
excited
we are
anymore.
trying to come up. You know what? Let's ask all of our guests. What is your favorite synonym for excited?
Over the moon.
That's always
Over the moon.
Over the moon.
Over the moon.
ecstatic I use every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just
Yeah.
to shake things up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we do. We like to keep it spicy around here. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being on. We have so
Thank you
much to
for
talk
inviting
about.
me.
So I was a little late, and
It's
they
okay.
already started talking
We
before
had-
I could hit
I
record. They had
know.
like at least 20 minutes.
We had a
I don't know how
full-blown
long.
conversation. I did stop a lot of it from happening.
Okay.
I did say, no, we cannot talk about this just yet. I didn't tell him about what I watched today.
Okay,
I
and
told him.
I'm sad because I didn't get to watch it.
Well, and I don't even know. I said, wouldn't it be funny if I told him what it was? And then he's like, why would you watch that? That's
Yeah,
the
he
wrong
probably
one.
has no
It was
idea.
actually this documentary
Yeah.
you probably should have watched. So,
okay, so what did you watch?
well, here, let me tell you. I'll tell you right now. At the New Year's party, and we were told, because you're in
Oil and gas. Yeah.
oil and gas. Okay. And I know zero about that. Somebody came up to Erin, and then Erin told me, and she's like, we have to watch this movie before we talk to you. And so I did. I watched the movie Deepwater Horizon.
Ah, yeah.
Was that the right one?
That's a good one.
Well, Mark Wahlberg's in it, so I was fine with it. and it was really funny because I'm like, I didn't have any context. I just said, they just said, watch that before you talk to him.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know. I'm like, oh my God, there's a Mike in this movie. Wahlberg is Mike. I'm like, is it Mike? Was Mike there? Oh my God. I'm like, no, that wasn't the same Mike. But it would be pretty cool. And that actually led me to write down a fun question,
Okay,
which we can either do now.
it's up to you.
Can we? And then we're going to
Sure.
circle back. Back.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, in your movie of your life, who is playing you?
Ooh.
I do like that
I
question.
like that, and it clicked with me today.
You can think about it. We could come back to it.
Yeah. I mean, because that actually takes some real thought. Pee Wee
Well.
Herman.
Anyway, so
Damn it. Not that one. Wait, I want to redo.
So needless to say, I watched that movie, and was that a good one to watch? Do you have any?
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I did remember they had some things right. Like they were doing a safety thing, and the brake brass was out there to go ahead and give them a recommendation and stuff like that.
And this was BP.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this for?
All my life.
Wow. So
How did you
Yeah.
get into this?
It found me.
Yeah, that's typically how
I thought I
stuff
was
like
going
that
into
happens,
marketing.
right? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
how I ended up in roofing. I was in marketing, and
Can
then
you look at my roof? It's leaking.
Oh no, I have, no.
How far away have you had to travel for this?
I worked in Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How did you fall into it? I mean, I just don't.
He said it came to him.
I know.
So
how?
what happened?
Summertime job.
Ah. What was
So
the
how
job?
old were you?
I was in college. I wasn't even 21 yet. Then all of a sudden, a friend of mine shows up at my door that I haven't seen in years. And how do you find my place in Powell, Wyoming? But anyways, sometimes things just happen and for a reason, and the door opens, walk through
Literally.
And he shows up, and he's like going, and he didn't even say anything. He just shows me a check, and I'm like going, hey, wow, that's a hell of a check for a month. He goes, no, dude, 2 weeks. I'm like, shit, sign me up. And so he says, come on. And so out to the oil field I went.
So have you thought about who would play you in your movie yet?
Oh, jeez. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Oh,
okay.
that's a good one.
Yeah. He'd do all right.
He would do all right. I like that
Yeah.
dude.
It's not about what they look like or anything like that. It's all I can think about
Who
is
would
what
do you
movies
justice?
they've done before. And I'm
Right.
thinking of Mars and some other cool stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I'm like going, oh, well, shoot, he did good. in
He
those.
was amazing in The Martian.
Yeah.
Mentioned that you were playing tennis.
Yeah, I went and played tennis today.
So he plays tennis and golf.
I know.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I did.
Well, there you go.
I think that's how I first met you. Not playing tennis, but you were playing tennis, and I was playing pickleball, and we ended up.
I probably was over playing pickleball then.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember
Yeah, 'cause
what.
I played with you guys. With Josh. And,
Oh yeah, but then we all went and dined at Valleja, and
Yeah.
that's been at least a couple years.
Yeah.
because I know how I met Mike at some party. And I totally insulted him too earlier because I said, because he was talking about how much he's gone, like half the year or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even notice. He's like, thanks. I'm like, well, no, it's not like that. It's just I tend
Thanks.
to,
That's just quite warmly there.
I know, and it's because it's like I feel like I only see you at like parties at events. I remember you probably were talking to Sean, and I met you, and we got on the topic of gaming, and we were talking about World of Warcraft. And I'm like, well, I like this dude already because, anybody who plays World of Warcraft is cool in my opinion. So what brought you then? I mean, obviously, it's a kind of a lame question, but what made you think Puerto Rico? What you were doing to actually say, oh, let me check that out?
Well, I was living in Bali, and I couldn't get home. So
Because
COVID.
And
so I was stuck in the Persian Gulf. And then so I just, I had no place to go. And so I ended up flying back to the United States. I hadn't been back since 2013.
Wow.
So, I mean, I was just traveling the world.
Wow.
And so when I flew back, I had an accountant that I had inherited. So it's the guy that I originally had retired, and then he passed his practice on to another guy. And I figured I better go introduce myself,
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, how you doing? And he's like going, dude, why aren't you in Puerto Rico? And Act 22. And I'm like going, well, I mean, I was going to do the Caribbean in my 60s maybe, that's because, they're always, where are you at today?
Yeah.
I'm always in a different spot in the world. Looked it up, and 5 days later, I'm in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Wow.
So, I was like going, woo, I got to be here.
Did you come straight to Palmas, or were you try out other places?
That's a fun one.
Good.
I don't know anybody here. Didn't know anything, and but that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and got rented a vehicle, and I figured I'd take about 3 months to check out the whole island and figure out my spot.
Cool.
And then buy whatever, and then go about it. And Palmas, I just was going to work the island clockwise.
Okay.
And so Palmas was had a whole bunch of Airbnbs.
Oh, of course.
So there's a good choices there. And then I figured, okay, I can use that to start at Fajardo and then work my way all the way around. I just figured I'd end up in San Juan, actually. So,
Sure.
I mean, not knowing anything.
Well, yeah.
And then, so once I get back to San Juan, then I use that as a base to check everything else out. And I came down here, and day one,
Who'd you meet?
Everyone.
I ended up, the place I got was in the plaza.
Okay.
And for a week.
Okay.
And, see how you like it, and, and then see if you want to stick in that area. And I went to the Blue Hawaii. And I had wine, I had everything in the place, but I thought, I'm going to go down there and just go ahead and grab a glass down there. As Ron and Bonnie were sitting there having dinner, and they're just talking loud and everything like that. I'm like a table away. And so she just finally turns and she says, I'm sorry for being too loud. I said, no. I like the conversation, actually. I said, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but that was, that was interesting about the armored cars. And so she was leaving the island. And so she's like going, hey, you want to buy my Jeep? And I'm like going, I need a vehicle. I said, my problem is, though, I don't have, I need a bill. And she goes, rent my place. And she goes, we'll go ahead and she goes, we'll get you all set up. I'll hurry up and put you in the water bill in. She's leaving in 3 days. She wants this Jeep gone. So, she's selling her place. She's selling everything. So she's like, I'm selling my place anyways. So go ahead and she goes, we'll just rent it to you real quick. And, and then you can buy the place. I'm like going, cool. And so she's like going, oh, my new best friend.
Oh, my God.
Go.
I love that story. That's awesome.
So what does she do? She's like going, so, now we're hanging out together for a little bit because, she's got to hurry up and,
And that's a good time. That's always a good time.
And of course, she introduces me to everybody.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I had a blast.
Yeah.
And so I'm like going, and next thing you know, by day 2, I own a Jeep. I own a golf cart. I'm staying in I now have her place to rent and for the next at least 3 months. And as she's trying to
You have all kinds of new friends.
Yeah, and I'm a member of the country club. And I went in and became a member of that. I'm like going, I figured, Puerto Rico's small enough. it doesn't matter where I'm at. I like it. So, yeah. So that was bam. And next thing you know, I've got a group to play golf with all the time. And, it's just like going, wow, that was.
Isn't that cool?
So Bonnie took off. I was like Bonnie 2.0.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
love stories like that. That's awesome. And another fun thing is you play chess with Sean.
Yeah.
And then he added to it. He's like, he wins most of them. So we know you golf. We know you tennis. We know you're awesome. Video games, awesome. And you're really good at chess.
And he's a pilot.
And he's a pilot?
Yeah. What was the story you were telling me the other night about you flying into Colorado? Was it into Springs or Denver? The Lightning. Castle Rock.
Oh, I was saying that the lightning capital of the world.
Lightning capital of the world. But there was something else about flying in there.
Oh, that's why I go around Denver.
Right.
I bought a plane, and that was my mode of transportation for about 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. So, instead of driving, I just fly.
Like a little
fly myself.
4-seater, 2-seater?
Yeah, it's a nice 4-seater. It's 180 horsepower.
Okay.
And so I could zip out to the rig, and I just buzzed the rig that told them to get your ass to the closest airport, which is not, your normal airports. There's a whole ton of little airports that are, just like, Umacao.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't have very far to go. And so, I zip down there, and I always usually have a hangar of some kind that I can get my plane in.
When did you decide you wanted to learn how to fly?
When I was tired I always thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But, when I realized planes aren't that expensive.
Yeah.
And I actually had to go from, I was working in North Dakota, and my next job was going to be I had to be in Nevada.
Okay.
And, and I only had like 3 days to get there, which is plenty of time.
Right.
But, I want to go home. And, but it's, to drive all the way home and then all the way over, you're just really not, you're going to spend a day there at home. So, so it's just easier just to go ahead and take the, run on over to the next job. And you're like going, if I had a plane, I'd be there in 4.5 hours.
There you go.
And so it's, I was like going, and, once again, when the stars line up, and everything kind of comes along, a friend of mine, he has nothing but really cool show cars and stuff like that. So, he's got nice stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he says, man, I'm selling my plane. And I was like going, really? And he goes, yep, and hangar. And so I was like going, sold. And so I bought it sight unseen and everything like that because I just know he has good stuff. And he wouldn't be taking advantage of me, too.
Right.
So, I mean, so then that was kind of funny. So because I'm not a pilot.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, did
So
you buy
got-
the plane,
you got the
and
plane
then
first?
Before I'd ever flown.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And I'm like going, okay. And I go, so how do I go about this getting a pilot's license and stuff? And he's like going, he says, go talk to these guys, and they'll be instructors and stuff, and that's the best way to get started. And I'm like, cool. And he says, get Sporty's pilot book. And so I did. I got Sporty's pilot book. And because I didn't have any time. I mean, I actually I had a little break in my. That's the whole thing is that my rig needed to do a Cat 4 inspection, which is going to take 3 to 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so I hadn't had a day off in a year.
Oh my God.
And so at that time, so when I came home, this is my window.
Yeah.
I have a short window, 3 to 4 weeks
To get your
to
license.
learn how to fly.
Well, and I'm thinking that's all kinds of time.
Right.
But,
No.
so-
Right.
I hurried up. I walked right in there, bought the plane, bought the hangar, and everything like that, and then went over to the fuel place and said, "Who's the instructors?" And they all kind of giggled, and they said, "Well, we all are." I'm like, "going great. I need all of you because I want to become. I got like 2 weeks. I want to get.
I need to be an expert.
I need to get my pilot's license in 2 weeks." They giggled again. They said, "No, that don't happen like
Right.
that." And I'm like, going.
It needs to.
Well, let's at least get started on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that they have little blocks. Okay, we'll schedule you from 8 to 10 and stuff like that. And I said, I need somebody all day.
Yeah, I need
And,
all of you.
Yeah, if it takes all of you, great. But I mean, I need all day. And let's just get going on this.
And they did it.
No, actually, they're like going, this guy's nuts. And
Yeah.
so they're like, but, they called Hank. And when, Hank was an instructor that he's retired. And so
The renegade.
So he goes, Hank goes, hey, he says, I'm your guy. And I said, great. He says, I'm a retired school teacher. So he says, let's do this. And I'm like, going, great. And he goes, you've never, ever been in a small plane? I'm like, no. And he goes, what if you don't like it? I'm like, not an option. And I said, let's do this. And so he's like, okay, this is new to me. So we jumped in the plane, and, of course, he showed me, how to do the walk around, the inspection, and all that stuff. And so, this is the very first time, and everything like, here we go, and everything like that. And he goes, you want to take off by yourself? I'm like, of course. And he's like, go ahead. I hit the gas, took off, and he's like going, he says, that was the first time I've ever had anyone ever take off by themselves. So we flew. I know I did, trying to do that, and then he's trying to help me land, and it was pissing me off. And I'm like going, quit doing that. I'm not going to learn anything if you keep doing it for me. And he goes, oh, you want to do it yourself? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, fine, pull on over here. And he gets out. He goes, go for it. I'm like, okay. I didn't shut the door all the way, so the door was open. That was on my mind, and but I didn't know that until after I took off. But I went in, and I took off, and I flew the pattern. I came down, and I landed, and he's like going, well, shit, that's the first time you weren't supposed to actually take off. You're supposed to ask me to come back in. And I'm like going, wow.
And this was after how long of doing this?
This is day one.
You're kidding me.
Oh,
No.
my God.
So you learned, oh, yeah, this. Okay, I'm good
I
to
got
go.
Got it. Thanks.
Like this, so...
See you later.
Yeah,
Well,
bye.
so that gave me the check off to be able to, fly the pattern on my own.
Okay.
You can't go outside of that. And
Yeah, I understand that, but the taking off, okay, that's one thing, but the landing,
Right.
that's the hardest part, isn't it?
Actually, most people will say the taking off, but
you got to keep it like balanced, and
yeah, that's. It's,
I've literally watched Sean with his simulator, and I'm like, and he's like, do you want to sit with me on this flight? Because he does like the real time flight, and I'm like, not really, but
most of your crashes
probably
are from taking off.
Okay.
And but I don't like landing, in various conditions and stuff like that, and I'll fly around an extra hour just to wait for things to change sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like, we got a crosswind going right now, and
Why-
then, it's,
yeah.
and there's gusts of wind. So,
Yeah.
you come down, you're crabbing down, or you do a slip to come in and stuff like that. I was able to almost land like a helicopter once.
What?
Yeah.
How? Why?
Well, I did that on purpose.
Is
and
this
that was kind
is
of
this
a
is
dumb
this like the
idea.
most like scary thing that you've done in the air?
No. Gosh, no. No. But
Do you want to tell us that one?
the scariest one?
Yes.
I don't know. I went upside down. That was by accident. Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
No, I was flying to Pinedale, and the wind was blowing really, really hard. And so I was sitting there cruising along, and I dropped down as low as I can because I'm flying into the wind.
Yeah.
So the lower you can get, the less
Yeah.
the wind is.
Yeah.
And the cars on the interstate were going faster than I was. This
Wow.
is bullshit. And so I'm like going, oh, damn. And this wind's really getting it. Hey, this wind's really getting it. And the wind was blowing in the perfect direction with Rawlins, Wyoming. So I'm like, I can land this like a helicopter. So I went flying in there to try that. I was not smart, but I did it.
When you land that, there's always somebody kind of air traffic, right?
Yeah.
Not the little ones. They could be completely empty and you just land.
Most of
So
them are
nobody, okay, so nobody saw this happen. And it was like,
Yeah,
who the fuck
nobody's
is this
anywhere.
guy? What else don't we know about you?
Probably a lot.
A lot, man.
I feel like this guy has
Like,
stories.
seriously, stories. Do you have any fun stories that you just were thinking about because you're like, I'm going to be on this really cool show and I should bring something to the table? We have a segment on our show called Rapid Fire. I need you to do me a favor. You have to sing a little song first for us.
My baloney has a first name.
It's what?
M-A-Y-E-R.
Oh my God. Can we use
No,
that?
O-S-C-A-R. I was just being funny in the beginning. Yeah, Oscar Mayer.
You got this.
You got
Tell me
this.
when you're ready.
Are you
Yeah,
ready?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm always ready.
Go. Favorite animal?
Horse.
Favorite beverage?
Wine.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Favorite sandwich?
Dagwood.
We're good. Favorite hobby?
Golf.
Favorite dessert?
Key lime pie.
Favorite place you have visited?
Bali.
Favorite food in general?
Lasagna.
Favorite game, board, video, outdoor, anything?
Risk.
Favorite app on your phone?
TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
How'd I do? Did I do it?
You
in
did
time?
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did
that
it right
was
at the end. Yeah. Okay.
perfect.
Animal, horse. I share that same favorite animal. with
It's
you.
not really one, but I mean, it's. I
Well,
was
now
just
I
I
writing
mean, it's
them,
an
so,
animal.
It's an animal.
Yeah, no, I
Well
was
done.
just riding horses at on ranch there, so.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And I like horses.
Beverage. You share a favorite beverage with Erin.
Yes.
Wine.
Vino.
Yes. Holiday, Christmas.
Got to be your favorite, right? I mean, I can't
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like
possibly
Christmas.
St. Patrick's Day.
That's
maybe.
what I was going to say. If mine would, my other one would be St. Patrick's Day.
I'm you know
Depends
what?
on where you're at in the world.
Yeah,
right?
true.
I'm
And we just celebrated Christmas.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, it
It was fun.
fresh. Fresh in your mind.
I like Thanksgiving. You have to tell me what sandwich you're talking about.
The Dagwood?
Yeah, what is that?
Do you remember that cartoon? His name was
I
Dagwood. It
yeah,
was Dagwood.
yeah.
I mean, so anyways, he would make these huge
Becky,
sandwiches. and
it might
they
be in the
actually-
gap.
Sorry.
They actually made a sandwich after him, but it's so it's just got
Tons of meats,
It's got
right?
it's like Subway.
You got to explain it though. What kind of bread? Like
Well, so it was like a Subway sandwich.
just a
But-
lot of meat, a lot of different meat.
Yeah, stacked up tall, and it
Any
was,
meat that you want? Bologna.
packed it on. Yeah, packed that sucker on there as a Subway spicy Italian. Really, you know what I mean? It's kind
Okay, that sounds good. Hobby. You said golf. How long have you been golfing for?
all my life.
Okay, that's cool. So you're actually probably good at it. Are you in Sean's golf group, golfing with the
I've
homies?
gone with them a couple times.
It's for the golf players who are not golf players.
Yeah, I know.
Golfers.
Yeah, I go with them every once in a while.
Okay. Dessert, key lime pie. That's not usually somebody's favorite.
I'm not a dessert guy,
And
but
it's, yeah.
that was what I was wanting today.
Favorite place, you said Bali. Bali is on my list of places to go.
Me too. I haven't been.
No.
You know, it's pretty cool. I mean, I still haven't. I just moved. I lived there. I didn't actually check it all out.
Okay.
I was busy, so
Working.
I was just seeing the world at the time.
What's your least favorite place that you've visited?
Tunisia.
Okay, that was a quick answer.
Mhm.
Why? Tell me more.
Well, I had 2 people blow themselves up while I was there. So
Well,
I mean,
that's not
Yikes.
good.
I just like, and it was just right during that Arab Spring crap
Okay.
and all that stuff, and it was just a bad place. And I showed up at Ramadan, and it was like, oh, I did not think this through.
And we said, what did you say? Favorite food? Favorite food?
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
Okay, that came pretty quick. That's what she said. Sorry, I'm terrible. Okay, so lasagna was your go-to. Is it one of those things like from like when you're like childhood where like your mom made lasagna and you just always loved it?
Well, she does a great job of making lasagna.
Yeah.
I like making it too. So I mean, it's just
You cook?
sure.
Of course he does. He does it all, ladies. Okay, so we love lasagna. Lasagna is delicious.
What's your favorite Palmas restaurant?
Oh, yes.
What are we eating?
See, but that's the thing.
Yeah,
You
I know.
can't say your favorite restaurant because I have multiple. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what we're eating.
Well, we
too.
know
So,
that
I
he
mean,
loves steak. So you want a steak. Where do you go?
I did like I mean, I had a good steak at Amber and Vines.
Yes.
I mean, that was good.
was very good.
I've had good steaks even at Augustina's. But, you know, I guess my go-to would always, when somebody comes from out of town, I take them to Chincho's.
Chincho's.
Yeah,
No
because, I mean,
kidding.
it's got great burgers.
Oh,
and,
the burgers are good.
They are. And if you want pizza, it's there, too. I mean, the pizzas are good.
It's
And,
a chill environment. I like when they got the live music.
And a lot of different beers.
And a lot of different beers. All right, Chincho's.
And I can park.
Favorite game? You said something random because I said favorite game, board game, video
Oh, no,
game,
he
or
said
outdoor?
Risk.
Oh,
Risk.
yeah, Risk.
Risk.
Risk. I know that shocked me. I was just like,
I mean, I played Risk, but like
I don't
a
think I've played it.
year. I mean, I was a kid.
I was a kid.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I mean, I just automatically assumed board games. So, I mean, that's just kind of a... But that was, I loved Risk. I mean, it's... Because that's a 2 or 3 day game. And
Yeah. That's
so
not
you
a
gotta
game you sit down and finish.
You got to be dedicated for this thing.
And that last question that I had asked you, which the buzzard went off at the same time,
Right.
which he still got it in,
Yep.
was favorite app on the phone, which is something that I kept in the mix.
Yeah,
because
I know.
really do
You
like
like it.
that question.
TD Ameritrade.
TD Ameritrade.
Well, I mean, it changes through the years, but originally I started with Scottrade. And, you know, it's just kind of just... now it's Schwab, actually. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not even that. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Good
guess
stuff.
it should have been Thinkorswim.
You know how there's
What?
words
What word?
that are just fun to say?
What word?
Spelunking.
Spelunking.
Spelunking. I've never spelunked before.
Oh,
I
we
haven't
could
either.
talk about that for a little bit.
Let's talk about spelunking.
All right.
And for our listeners, this is going to be a fun drinking game. If you'd like to join in, anytime somebody says spelunk or spelunking, you have to take a sip if you'd like to join in.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's not something that would normally come up when you're caving.
Well, it's about to.
Oh, really?
It's about to, because if I haven't heard it enough, I'm
So-
going to say it.
The thing is, you know, I try to do a new sport or new something, whatever, and all the time. But anyways, there's a really cool cave outside of town, and I wanted...
What town?
Cody, Wyoming.
Okay.
And so an old book. So a guy actually mapped out this cave back in the like early 1900s, and it would technically be the deepest cave. I mean, from up to down, ever. And so I mean, but you know, of course, it can't be proven and stuff like that. A guy did go in there and he did set some dynamite off, and because he was upset because he tried to, you know.
Naturally.
They had it all blocked off, and you know, in order to get the key, you had to have a lot of caving experience. And I'm like, oh, well, how do you get caving experience? And so the next thing you know, we went off caving like crazy, just trying to get in. Then there was a really cool cave that you would, first of all, one of them has a saber-toothed tiger in it. And that's pretty cool.
Wait, what?
There's the bones of a saber-toothed tiger.
Bones. I was like,
Oh, yeah, no, not a real
that
one.
would have been really
Kitty,
cool.
kitty, kitty, kitty. No, no.
Yeah, I already have a hard enough time with the cats that we have here.
No, this is you know, I mean, a real saber-toothed tiger, and in Wyoming of all places.
Wow.
And so it's at the bottom, and they
That's
call it the
wild.
natural trap cave. And so it's you know,
Trap.
natural trap.
See, that's why I wouldn't spelunk and drink.
So the cave that we were actually doing, and we actually were able to log a bunch of time in, you had to do a 90-foot rappel straight into it.
Yep. Nope. It's not happening.
And then you get lost in this thing. And so we spent 3 weeks total. I mean, we would knock out like 2 or 3 days, and then we'd, take a break and then come back.
There's that many caves in Wyoming?
No, that
or
was one cave. This is one giant cave. It's still unexplored.
Oh.
Wow.
And so we were running out, different trying to find new area. You log that much time in, so we're using tongue depressors with reflector tape on it, and then we'd have I had them all numbered 1 to 500 because we would use that many. This is how it works. So
what?
Okay, so we go caving.
Yeah.
And so we've got, lots of, headlights and everything like that. We're going to be in here for at least 24 hours, maybe. Possibly. We lose track of time. But, so we're going to take turns leading and take turns actually making sure we can get back out.
Naturally.
Because it's not as fun to do one or the other.
You don't want to get stuck in a cave.
No, but we're going to be gone for a long time. So, so as we take off, let's say, you're wanting to go ahead and, go explore. I'm going to say, well, this time let's go ahead and hug the right wall. And so you're going to hug the right wall. We're going, I am making sure that we don't lose her. And as you're coming behind, you're actually making sure that we have a way out. So right when we actually get to the deal, you're going to set a tongue depressor with the reflector tape with number 1 facing this. So then you're going to be constantly, as you're following us, you're constantly looking back, and it goes boom, boom, and you can see this, big bright. And when you can't see it anymore, you come back to where you can see it, and then you place another tongue depressor in the direction that we're going. So that way, when you pick up one, all we have to do is do a 360, and we'll find another tongue depressor, which is going to tell us where to go.
So you can't get lost.
As long as the numbers line up, because sometimes you run back around in a circle or something like that, and you find another. Oh no! Figure out a different way because you have to pick them up in order. Otherwise, you're going to get lost. And you've been hiking in here for 12 hours. And
you're going to sleep in a cave.
No, you don't really feel like sleeping. We're exploring.
Well,
You
sure.
could if you wanted to, but I
because
mean,
why-
I never
why-
took a sleeping bag in there or anything like that. We just keep going.
Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, why not? I'd
Wow.
be the one literally hugging the wall.
I'm not
Like
sure
he's like, hug the,
spelunking is my...
you there, hug the right wall. I'm like, I am not leaving the spot. I will hug this wall until.
Okay. On that note, I mean, I was actually we're lost, and
Okay.
yeah, it happened a lot, and so I mean, so we I was trying to find a new route, and so these areas are so tight that I have to blow all my air out in order to fit, and so I was squeezing between these two slabs, and it's the only time I really got
Anxious?
claustrophobic.
Oh,
Maybe
sure.
I don't know. I mean, it was it was
I'd
almost,
be in full blown panic.
Yeah,
you can't do that when you're spelunking.
No, but I was it was coming on, and I was like going, wow, that can happen to me. I didn't know.
Oh, sure.
I mean, because I don't pack about anything. But so I was sitting there. I'm like going, okay, let's do this. And so I'm looking ahead, and I see a spot where I can probably open my chest and take a breath. And so I'm pulling myself through, and I can't find it, and I can't take a breath. And so my chest is it's now you're stuck because if you try to breathe, you can't move, and so you have to blow all your air out in order to. But I can't get a breath.
Like, dude, you could die.
And then I start thinking, hey, this rock that I'm climbing on and could have fell yesterday. At any time. Nobody knows. I mean, and I didn't tell anyone where I'm at.
Well, that was a mistake.
I did this a lot, but I mean, that was not really the smarter thing. I mean, but anyways, like they wouldn't ever even know where to look for you. I mean, this is not, and that all of a sudden it all starts coming in on you, and you're like going, woo! So you just shut the light off and just enjoy the dark because it is as dark as it could ever be. And you sit there and just regulate your breathing, slow
But
your
you're
heart
not
rate.
breathing. How are you breathing?
Well, because you have to, you're breathing at tiny bits, but you have to just slow your heart rate down as much as you can in order to calm yourself, right? Because I
Right.
mean,
Oh my God.
you got these.
You have to get out of this, so you would have to back out, right?
No, I went forward.
You went forward.
I'm gonna keep going. I just got to find
You just didn't know where it was going to lead to.
I just can't find the pocket. Right. Yes.
You don't know.
You're right.
So this could be you die because you're going to keep going forward and then you can't get out.
No, I can get out. I just have to come back through the same way I came.
Right. So you might have to back out 300 yards.
But I'll turn around. So I mean,
There's a spot to turn around.
usually.
You didn't know that though.
Nah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, there was one where I went down in a hole head first, which was dumb.
Yeah, you do
But,
some of that dumb stuff sometimes.
I went head first out into this hole, and I was like, well, but I mean, we had a plan to get me out.
Well, yeah.
But
you couldn't.
Oh,
You
my.
couldn't pay me enough.
so, anyways, when I poked my head out, there was a freaking pika, and a pika is a mouse that with a long rat tail.
Yeah.
Staring right at me, and I'm like going, "Oh my gosh!"
And you didn't have any dryer sheets with you.
I didn't have anything.
I learned something from you. You told me about dryer sheets keep the mice away.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they do not like them. They won't go anywhere near 'em. So that was that's my claustrophobic issue, and then so
Yeah.
then I went to do Denise's crawl, and a different cave, of course, and so we have to cruise through this thing, and that was not as bad as you thought. I mean, it's I saw a guy crack in it, and there were some cavers from Pennsylvania.
Full blown
and,
panic.
I guess. I mean, so first time we ever saw anybody up there. I mean, we're busy, caving our thing
sure.
forever, trying to get to where we have enough experience to get into the cave of that one.
You had a guide with you or no? You were just
No,
like
we've
on
never
your
used a-
own, like a couple buddies, and you're like, let's go spelunking.
Yeah,
in this
that's where it's always
random
gone.
cave. There,
That's how
I
we
heard
did
there's
kayaking. That's how
there's
we-
a cool crawl space that we can like maybe get stuck in, but hopefully not. And it's like really cool. Apparently,
It really, that's what are you going to see? It's not like Goonies where
No, yeah, no.
I was gonna say Goonies. It's not like Goonies.
So
you're not getting a pirate's treasure out
No,
of this.
No.
well, yeah. At the end of it,
No.
is there like in this cave? There's a big ship
Right.
to explore something.
good point.
See what I mean?
Okay.
I would go
Was there?
spelunking
Was
for
there?
that.
Yeah. All right. So now there's this one place. It's called the Carpet Room, and it's really, really cool. So you have to squeeze through a whole bunch of this stuff. And this is Denise's crawl, by the way, past
Yeah.
Denise's crawl. Then you have to go past another spot, which is called the Wormhole, and that thing is like I'm
Well
surprised
named.
people made it past that.
Well named.
Yeah.
I have something to say here. Why is it called Denise's crawl?
because that was the chick that climbed through it the first
Yeah.
time.
But did she get stuck or did she make it out?
No, she made it through.
She made it through.
She found it. She discovered it. She was the one that actually did that stupid move that your guys are
Yeah.
giving me crap for going. Why would you try that?
Because Denise did. If Denise did
Well,
it, I can
Denise
do
did
it.
it.
And
So-
we're all doing the same thing. So
Naturally.
we try. And because when you can find these hidden areas, especially in caves like this. Now, not every cave I would do this in. But, so when you find these new areas, all of a sudden it opens up.
Do you know what would freak me out is if I went spelunking and drink, and I saw like human bones of somebody who didn't make it.
There's no way. Well,
There is
But-
100% way
sure.
that could happen.
Yeah, but, I mean, these, I'm literally back to where maybe 20 people have been to.
Okay.
When was the last time you
Yes.
went?
Damn, it's been a while.
Have you
Yeah.
done any spelunking here in Puerto Rico?
No.
There's supposed to be
Have
some
you-
caves
I know.
up in like
Is
San
it
Juan.
still considered spelunking if, let's say, you're diving and you're swimming through the caves? Is that still
I
considered
do
spelunking?
that too, and I don't like doing that. That's screwed up.
I've
That's
done that
messed up.
too, and
That
it
freaked me
scares
out.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did that
had
in
to take my
Cozumel.
freaking tank off. Oh my god!
Oh
there's
no,
another
I would
frickin'
never.
story.
No, I
So-
would not be okay with taking my tank off.
I'm in freaking Belize. We're freaking
Oh,
diving.
I love
and,
diving in Belize.
and they-
Where were you diving?
Isla Bonita. Just like the song that Madonna's where
Yeah,
she's sung
yeah,
about it's close to the Blue Hole.
yeah. Okay.
The guy says, I got this great swim through. He says, you'll love it. And he said, but we're bringing a couple other people that have, really haven't,
dove?
done much. Well, I mean, the swim through's at 115 feet deep.
Oh, Jesus.
So I mean,
yeah, I would
it's
really
just-
not be happy about that.
They just automatically think that I'm the, hey, since you're the most qualified, you follow up the back. And I'm like going, oh, okay. I hate doing that, but I'd rather go through first. And, but, all right, fine. And so that's what we did. So we went
Well,
through.
yeah, because also if somebody else is in front of you and they fuck up, they're like,
Well,
you know.
they kick. If
Right,
they kick,
right.
then I can't see shit. And so I've never been through this thing. And so as I'm coming through, my friend, who I'm with, he actually, I don't know what he's doing. He's chasing something. And so he says, he'll come behind me. So I was going to go behind, but he coming behind me. And so as I'm going, I had this woman in front of me, and she just starts kicking madly, kicked my mask off even. And because I imagine I was like, going, what are you doing? All of a sudden she starts, kicking and stuff like that. Mask comes off. Well, that's just blows because so I got it back on and everything like that. And but you can't
see, you can't.
Well, I couldn't see anyways
Right.
because she kicked all that sediment and you can't see a thing. It's like a giant cloud. But I can't get
Can't get cleared.
I can't clear the mask because I can't pull back. And so I'm like going, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And so I'm sitting there trying to figure out where to go because now I can't also see where my how much air I got. And,
oh my God.
So
Yeah.
and I'm last, and she's taking forever to get through this stupid thing. And so I don't know what the problem is. And so I don't know where she's at. I can't see anything or anything like that. So I start trying to come through. There starts to feel like there's different ways to go. And not cool at all. Because I'm like going, jeez. I wish I'd asked the question, do you stick to the left wall? Do you stick to the right wall? What? I didn't ask any of these questions. He just said, he goes, this is a great swim through. And so I'm sitting there, I'm trying to figure out, I can't get through. And so it's got to be the wrong spot. So I back up a little bit. My friend's like, what the heck? He's right behind me. I go the other direction. Can't go there. It stops there. I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. So I go back to the other spot and, where I can actually feel ahead, but I can't fit through it. So I take the BCD off.
Oh my gosh.
And because my tank is the only reason I can't fit through.
Right.
So I'm having to drag this thing through. And I'm kind of almost in I'm breathing pretty heavy too, because this is all kind of not cool.
Well,
And,
you're that deep. It's a lot of work to get your BC off when you're.
and I
like,
can't go up
in
if I wanted to.
Right.
So, this is
Jesus.
like a good
Oh, my
panic
God. I'm
situation
like-
if I've ever seen one. And I'm trying to keep it together and I'll be all cool and stuff like that. But I'm now, this is,
God.
and
So
I'm just, all I'm worried about is my air because I
Right.
know I'm breathing hard. I
Yeah.
know I'm,
Yeah.
a little excited. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I drag it through and I finally come out the other side. Thank God. And, but I was just like, I didn't know if I went the right way.
Oh my God.
And so I was, that'll put a little panic in you. And so, when I finally popped out, I was just like going, oh my God, never again. I'm done.
So, could everybody else get through with leaving their tank on?
What about the chick?
They did. Oh, I forgot about that. I am everywhere. I'm chasing everything. And so I'm going to go through a lot of air. I know I'm going to go through a lot of air because I like chasing shit. I don't like sitting there just kind of cruising through. So I want the bigger tank. I want the fat kid tank.
Oh.
And so I
Okay.
got
You had
the
a
fat
bigger
kid
tank.
Oh, I
and,
see.
so that way I could enjoy as much time
Right.
down as I could.
After you all got out and everything, you see this chick again. Did she apologize? Was she still freaking out? Like what?
Oh, she doesn't, she did.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know?
No,
No.
if you kick somebody and you don't know. What about jumping out of a plane?
I was literally going to ask him that.
I jumped out of several of them. I never bought my own parachute and all that stuff. But jumping out, looking for whales. So it's kind of fun. That's a cool spot to do it, but it's kind of a boring thing.
Oh. I liked it. I've only done it once, but
Kind of a boring thing.
I liked it.
It's just kind of you're there for a
Yeah.
little bit, and then you pull the chute, and then you. So I thought paragliding was pretty cool.
I have not done that, but my stepdad did it and he loved it.
Well, when you're parachuting, you're basically that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I always thought that, I never did paragliding, by the way. I wanted to. I've been meaning to.
What about like I don't even know what you call it. The stuff that you see the people out here doing, like
that's
on the
paragliding with the power
but
pack
it's
on
motorized.
back.
Okay, yeah,
I don't think I'm that adventurous.
I am.
Yeah, Erin 100% is. I don't think I'm that adventurous.
I'm not as adventurous now. I used to be
when
I
I was
became
younger.
mortal at
when
47.
When
Yeah.
you're in your 20s and stuff, and you think you're invincible. I probably would. I wanted to go, do a bunch of things, and then you get older, and then you just like, well, I could die.
I mean, Joel always makes fun of me because like I've jumped out of a plane, I've jumped off the stratosphere, I rock climb, I do all those things, but now I'm like scared if we go to a cathedral and it's like, super high up and you have to walk on like the outside steps, even though there's like the fencing or whatever, I'm like up against the wall. I don't know what is wrong with me in that circumstance, but yeah, it's the weirdest thing. But I don't feel like I'm afraid of heights, but I am
Apparently
in
you are now.
certain situations, or something. But I still think that I would jump out of a plane again, and I would jump off the stratosphere, except for I guess they shut that down.
That's another thing. When I was younger, I loved going on rides, roller coasters.
Oh my God, I still love roller coasters.
And now, did you even see recently at that one place that lady fell off the roller coaster and died?
I never worry about that stuff, but I have gotten queasy after a ride or two, and I never, ever get queasy. So it's just kind of like, where did that come from?
Maybe you had like a little bug or something.
I'm going to go with it's just an age thing. And so it's, or we're not doing it as much. We used to do it all the time.
Yeah,
That
maybe.
could be that beat. Thrill-seeking thing it wasn't that we're trying to harm ourselves by any means. It's just, this can be done, and we want to do it. One of the fun one was there was a way in the Philippines where you jump off this one waterfall, and there's 22 waterfalls to jump off of. What a cool concept! Let's do it. So I went by myself, and went with a guy showing me that I don't know very well, and
But he's done it before.
Yeah.
He said he's done it before.
Yeah, he's done it before. And when we went, there was a couple other people doing it too and stuff like that. Only problem is I hit a rock.
Oh my God. Do you see what I'm trying to say here?
With my freaking heel. And I've jumped off a lot of waterfalls. And it's not like I just jumped off it just to be an idiot, because I'm going to watch several people jump off. I'm going to land exactly where they land and everything like that. And I did all that. But I hit a rock. And I hit it, and I glanced off of it. Ooh, I got 21 more waterfalls. I did it on the very first one. And once you jump off the first one, there is no turning back. And I'm like going, oh my God. And so I just kind of I'm using the water to not have to walk.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not having a good time. And then I'm looking at this next jump, and he's like going, you can jump off the top of all these. And I'm like, feet first hurts right now. I mean, this heel touches anything. And I mean, I just...
Ow.
So, and I'm not diving in this shit because...
Right. I mean, if it did that to my heel, what could it do to my head?
Yeah, I barely made it through
Die.
that sucker.
Yeah.
You can die.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yes.
I barely made it through that. I was like going, this is not a good day.
I'm far too risk averse for this.
Yeah, you are.
I have rolled my ankle wearing heels.
I was diving at Molokai. Remember when North Korea supposedly sent the nukes to us? I came up. Somebody had actually hit the early warning sign button, and so all of a sudden everything goes nuts. I was underwater at that exact moment, diving on the backside of Molokai in Maui. And when I came up, they're like going, check your phone, check your phone, check your phone. I'm like going, why? And they're like going, hurry, and they're like going, we got to get everybody out of the water. And I'm like, why? And they're like going, we have incoming nuclear attack. And I'm like going, wow. So I went and
You're like, I should have stayed down.
Hold on a second. I have to say something. You telling the story now, it's different telling the story now than how it felt in the moment. And you make it sound like you are cool, calm, correct through all of this shit.
100%.
You were calm the whole time. You're like, oh,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, if this is your time, it's your time, right?
No, it's nothing you can do about it.
So you might as well just be calm and just get through it.
I've always joked about that, saying if all of a sudden we get told that the nuclear, bombs are on the way, take the couch and put it on the front lawn and watch.
Because you're going to die anyway. Yeah, might as well enjoy it.
I mean,
Sure.
what's the point of freaking running around?
Exactly.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, small things, big things, no big deal. I treat it, I mean, literally, you'll notice, everything. It's the small things like I have $2.50 left of this currency, and I got to get through this stuff, and I don't want to go hit the ATM. That's going to stress me out.
Yeah.
But on that particular deal, so I mean, I came up and they're explaining it to me, and they're like, we got to get everybody out of the water. I'm like, well, if the missiles are coming in, we just need to drop all the tanks in the water, and then when we see them, we all jump in, and we don't come up until we run out of air, and then we'll see what's left. They're like, well, that's actually a good idea, and so that's what we did.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'd rather be underwater.
Yeah, and I'm 15 feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how deep. I'm sitting there, but so as I'm sitting there having an orange slice and everything like that, they're like going, how can you be so calm? I'm like, because there's nothing we can do about it. And so I look at my phone, and, we got the warning, screenshotted it. And, I was like going, wow, look at that. This is actually happening. Or if they hit Maui or anything like that, we are in the best spot right now that I could plan for.
Yeah.
Why would we want to go anywhere? He's like, yeah.
See, I knew this guy had more stories.
Yeah, no, and he was all like, oh, I don't know.
I've done nothing.
Let's get him another drink. You give him some rum and Coke, then he'll really open up.
And then they start flowing.
Yeah. You got a lot of stories because you've been to 78 countries.
Yes.
78 countries.
78 countries. So we have a lot to talk about. So hold on to some of that information because guess what? You're cool enough to be a part two. That's a compliment. No offense to all of our single episode
No.
friends. You all could be part twos.
Yeah. Not even a
this
question.
is I don't know if this is a compliment or it's insulting to you. I don't know, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like you were cool, but you're so much cooler than I thought you were.
This has been a spectacular conversation with you, Mike. So thank you.
Spectacular.
Yeah, spectacular. I mean, when we first started talking about having Mike on the show,
Yeah.
I was like, every time I talk to Mike, I learn something new about him, and
Yeah.
I knew that he had lots of stories that I didn't know, but I had no idea how many stories. And I know we've barely scratched the surface.
We have barely scratched the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah.
So he will definitely be back for a part two.
Yeah.
We'll blow
I
up.
enjoyed your show. I enjoyed listening to it, too.
Well, thanks.
Wait, you listened to us?
I did.
Which one?
Yeah. Or ones.
I knocked out at least more than half of them.
What?
That's a lot.
Wow. Do we have 6 fans? My friends and fans, this is a community podcast. So if you have not listened yet, you need to.
Yeah. And you should tell a friend.
Yeah. And then give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, please.
Thank
And
you.
follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
Lots for you to do.
Love, 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 love.
Love,
so
love.
much.
So much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Seriously, Mike, this, like, we already knew we enjoy talking to you because at parties, which is the only time I really see you, like, we always have a good time chatting.
Yeah,
Always
always.
have a good chatting. So thank you so much for being on because we've gotten to know you even better and now we like you even more.
Yeah.
So
I
now I
also-
might actually notice when he's not here.
Not here. I know.
Well, you have to now because it's like subconsciously embedded in your mind. Oh, man. I totally got burned on that one.
I'm such an asshole.